There you go.
Greetings, Council, for the second time today. This is our second one, and thank you again for coming, and good to see staff. We will call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Today's meeting is being held as a virtual meeting due to the declared emergency. Today's meeting may be streamed live as well as recorded and published on Southwest Middlesex YouTube channel. We will begin this gathering by acknowledging that the lands upon which we meet is the traditional territory of First Nations people. We convey our respect and thank them for their contributions to our culture, community, and our past and future partnerships. Council, is there any member of council declaring a pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? I don't see any hands, so we'll move on to the agenda items. Additions to the agenda, are there any? And seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion that the regular agenda of council dated November 10th, 2021 be accepted as presented. Someone move that, please. Deputy Mayor Wilkins, seconded by Councillor Vink. Questions? In favor? Carried. We have a delegation. The Robinson Drain is with us this evening. I believe Brandon, I heard his name mentioned earlier, will be leading us in this. We will appoint a quarter of revision. Deputy Mayor Wilkins, Councillor Vink, Councillor Scholdice, and Councillor McGill. If you would be willing to sit on it, I'd appreciate it. And if there's no objections, I would be pleased to be chair on that. I don't see any. If someone would move that and seconded that, we will go into the quarter revision. Thank you, Councillor Cowell, a seconder for that. Councillor Vink. Questions? In favor? Carried. We'll call the quarter of revision to order at 7:02. In this quarter of revision committee, are there any members of the committee declaring a pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we will move on. Brandon, thank you very much for being with us tonight. If you could lead us into this, and I remind those listening, those participating, that this conversation is based on assessment. It is not based on engineering. And Brandon, will certainly let you take it away. You've got the floor.
Just a quick question, Mr. Mayor. This is a 2-township drain. The Village of Newberry, their representative should be part of the group here.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
So that's why Mr. Mike Noy was asking to be a part of it. So they should be a member of the quarter revision.
Okay. I'm going to clarify that with my CAO. Jill, does that meet your protocol? If is Mike?
I don't see him here at this point. So do you want to defer? I mean, we can go back and wait for him to arrive, but if he's not here, I don't think he can participate.
I see a chat down here. Let me just see what it is. No, I don't see anything there. No. Thank you, Brandon, for pointing that out to us. I wasn't aware that that would materialize. I don't know.
I guess Jill maybe can comment. We have no appeals. There is 2 owners in Newberry. One of those owners also, well, both of the owners are also represented in Southwest Middlesex. So they both own properties in each, and they're both assessed on the drain. If council is okay, we can proceed. I don't see this being very controversial.
The chair has no problem with proceeding with this if council feel the same. Okay. Brandon, we're going to move on then, okay?
Nope, no problem. I'll quickly go through it. The drain was approximately $40,000. There was an assessment, the two properties in Newberry. It was approximately $1,640. The remainder was picked up by the landowners of Southwest Middlesex, with the vast majority being assessed to a Mr. Art Heating and McCann Brothers Limited, which is operated by the Walsh family. Now, the only comment I will have, or what I've received on this whole report, is this is drains what the Walshes call the Robinson Farm. It is scheduled to be drained this spring, 2021, and they would like to see this drain installed for spring operations. So in discussions with Andrew, we've asked that we have a completion date of April 1st, 2021 on this project. But other than that, I've received no information regarding any assessments. And Jill can confirm, I do not believe we received any appeals.
Okay. Thank you, Brandon. Jill, order of appeals, are there any, or are we absent of them?
I can confirm Brandon's correct. We've not received any appeals.
Thank you very much. Brandon, at this time, I'll ask council if they have any questions. They can direct through the chair to you. Are there any, council? Okay, I don't see any hands. Andrew, you're satisfied with everything?
Yes.
Okay. It's at this point, council, that we will deliberate to make a decision of the Court of Revision. It appears that no assessment is being considered. And the recommendation is that the assessment is levied by Spreet & Associates dated September 3rd, 2021 and adopted by Provincial Bylaw 2021-083 to pay for drainage works known as the Robinson Drain be confirmed. May I have a mover and a seconder for that? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Wilkins. Thank you, Councillor Vink. Discussion? Mark, please go ahead. Councillor McGill.
Completion date, April 1st, 2022. I'm sure that's what Brandon meant.
Okay. Yes, I believe so too. I noticed that as well. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, yes, that's what I meant. And I can, I guess, also explain, you're going to be, or Andrew has received additional requests on that farm for drainage going the opposite direction. So you'll see more action to come in this area.
Okay. Thank you, Brandon. Council, you've had opportunity to ask questions. I'll call the question. All in favor of the recommendation as presented? Carried. Jill, we'll adjourn the Court of Revision at 7:08. We are on item number 5, Council, the consent agenda. I will read these from 5A to 5H. If any items Council wishes to be enacted upon, they can be moved to number 12 under new business. And I'll pause and look at your hands should you wish any of these moved. 5A, October 27th, draft council minutes. October 27th, draft budget meeting minutes. 5C, Southwest Middlesex vouchers. Yes, Martin. A question?
Just a quick comment, Mayor Allen. I just want to thank Kristen and Ming for having the additional information there for the vouchers.
That's great. Thank you, Martin, for positive comment there. We appreciate it. 5D, letter from CUPE, OMERS, investment performance. Yes, Councillor Cal.
Could we have that pulled out to support later, please?
We sure can. OMERS. 5D. And we have a letter from the Minister of Infrastructure. Yes, Councillor Cal.
Just a comment, please, through the chair to Jill. When we had a chance to talk with the infrastructure minister, one of the things we brought up was the fact that the current funding stream that they had available did not allow a joint application, which is what we were looking for our water. And this letter doesn't quite mention that. And I'm wondering if we've seen any changes to the funding stream that might make it possible for our project that we had in mind to go in jointly.
Go ahead and answer that, Jill, if you'd like.
Sure, through you. The Minister of Infrastructure, I think you're correct, was very positive in the idea of joint infrastructure applications. The one that we were sort of hopeful for wasn't going to be able to come into play for the timing of this particular one. We had several conversations with the ministry on that. But additionally, the other municipalities would have also needed to ensure that they were aligned exactly the same way, and that wasn't as possible. So I think the idea is the right idea, and I think the ministry is supportive of that notion in general, and was looking and interested in making that happen in the future. Just wasn't so much for this past green stream funding.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Cal. We have Chatham-Kent Professional Development Day on Municipal and School Board Election Day 2022. And we have St. Clair Region Conservation Authority meeting highlights 2021. And we have finally the thank you notes from GDHS students. Okay, and we are going to take 5D out of there for discussion under new business. Committee of Adjustment, Council. Yes, Jill.
Sorry, do you mind just getting a motion to receive and approve the minutes?
Okay, well, we'll do from 5A to 5H with the exclusion of 5D, that they be approved in the consent agenda. Councillor Bartlett, Councillor Scholdice, questions? All in favor? Carried. Committee of Adjustment, there's none. Public meetings, there are none. Jill, correct me if I'm wrong here. No reports under fire. No reports under operations. No reports under building. And no reports under finance. Kristen? We have 8E operations. And Mr. Neely, I think the ball is going to fall in your court. The first one is the Cavallars drain. It's a Section 4 petition. Could you introduce council to this subject?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This may sound familiar. There is already a report on the go, Section 78 reconstruction of a portion of the main drain, and I have included a map in my report for reference. And also, council has.
Oh, Andrew, you're muted on us. Andrew, you've muted on us. There you go.
Yes, yeah, did that on its own. And there's an existing Section 4 branch addition, and this is another addition branch that the municipality has received. And so, as you can see, there was a preliminary meeting that was held a couple of weeks ago with the engineer on site to bring the design and the estimate cost to the people on the drain. And it was brought to the attention to municipal staff of the placement of an unofficial agreement drain. So that's a handshake agreement drain that goes under Falcon Bridge. And if you reference my my map, it shows the approximate placement of that drain. It's between concession 2, lots 1 and 2, Dennis Remley, and Concession 3, Lot 2, Jean and James Glover, Strathroy Turf. Works were carried out recently to repair the handshake agreement drain through the turf farm privately. The options were given to the property owners, a formal mutual agreement drain or a new branch of the Kevlar's drain. Mr. Remley verbally indicated that he would like a new branch, and then he subsequently submitted a petition for that on October 22nd. And so going from here, there's no immediate financial implications to this recommendation. However, it is likely that the engineer will assess a portion of the cost to Falconbridge. It is likely there will be 1 or 2 catch basins on either side of the road. And so there's little liability with regards to this petition. And that brings me back to the recommendation that council accept the petition filed under section 4(1)(a) of the Drainage Act. That council appoint Spree Associates to include this branch on the ongoing report, and that the drainage superintendent contacts St. Clair Conservation Authority and other authorities to ensure legal compliance.
Thank you, Andrew, very much. Council, are there any questions you would like to address to Andrew through the chair? Yes, Martin, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Just a small point. I believe Kevlar's is spelled K-A-V-E-L-A-A-R-S.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just asked that myself, so.
Yes, I have seen it spelled many different ways, and I do apologize for and I had chosen a spelling and I stuck with it. So going forward, I'll make sure that it's correct.
Yeah, that's great. No, over time, sometimes there's changes in spelling surnames. That's fine. Council, any further questions? You've heard the recommendation. Andrew has read it to you. If you're in agreement with the section 4 recommendation, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Mayor Mayhew.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Is there a seconder? Did I hear a seconder there? Please raise your hand. Yep, thank you, Councillor Cowell. We've had adequate questions. All in favor? Carried. Andrew, there's a section 4 before us, section 78 rather, before us on the black drain. Could you walk us into that?
Yes. Let's find that again. Oh yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is, as you recall, has been to council for the acceptance of this request. The black drain is in the former township of Mosa, and a portion of it was improved in 1981. However, the portion that we are dealing with right now was last improved in 1954. And you can take a look at my map that I've included. This portion is highlighted in green. The last time that anything was done to that portion was in 54. Since council accepted Mr. McNeil's request on September 15th, staff sent out notices to property owners on the drain to gain feedback and scope the project. There have been no landowners at this point that have given any feedback. However, there is still time if there's anyone that has any issues, if anyone wanted a branch or what have you. Going forward, there is still an opportunity for landowners to do that. Financial implications, similar to the other one, that there's no immediate implications. However, both Pratt Siding and Centerville have been assessed previously, and it is likely that they will be assessed as well, likely for catch basins and road crossings. Similar to the other one, legal implications. Council does have the ability to deny this appointment. However, like other laws, there's checks and balances, and it does, people on the drain do have the ability to appeal. So it is at this point that I recommend that council appoint Street and Associates under section 78 of the Drainage Act to produce a report to reconstruct a part of the black drain based on the request received by the owner of Range 2, part of Lot 8.
Thank you again, Andrew. Council, are there any questions you'd like to address to Andrew through the chair? Seeing none, then the recommendation is before you pertaining to the black drain of section 78. Andrew has read it. May I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Bartlett, Councillor Vink. And last call for questions. All in favor? Carried. Andrew, we're now down to your third application here, the section 78 on the code drain. Could you entertain discussion on that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The background, the code drain, former township of Eckford was last improved in an engineer's report in 1955. There does not seem to be any subsequent repairs for improvements to this drain since. There have been sinkholes that have been dealt with. Council accepted this request on September 15th. Staff sent out notices to property owners to gain feedback, and there has been actually subsequent owners that have submitted requests to include the reconstruction on their properties. So right now we have received requests for all property owners that the drain runs through those properties. And I would like to note that scoping has improved, I think, the process. It's made things smoother. It has notified people earlier on in the process, and it's really improved situations, I think, going forward. And so financial implications, there are no immediate financial implications. However, Hindman Drive has been assessed in the past, and it will more than likely be assessed as well. And also, McCrae Cemetery has been severed out of one of the properties, and this is owned by the municipality, and it will likely have a portion towards the assessment in this proposed report. Legal implications similar. Council does have the ability to deny this appointment. However, this is a reasonable request, which brings me to the recommendation that council appoint Street and Associates under section 78 of the Drainage Act to produce a report to reconstruct the code drain in response to the owner's request from Range 2, Lot 23, Lot 3, Range 3, Lot 23, Range 3, Lot 22 of the former township of Eckford.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Any questions, council, you'd like to address to Andrew through the chair? Seeing none, you have a recommendation before you on the code drain of section 78. I'll entertain a motion. Councillor McGill. Councillor Cowell. Is that correct, Councillor Cowell? Okay, thank you. And I'll ask one more time if there are questions. Seeing none, all in favor of the recommendation? Carried. And the last section 78 is on the Dymic drain. Andrew, go ahead.
Thank you. The background on this request, on September 23rd of this year, administration received a request under section 78 of the Drainage Act from the owner of Range 1 of Lot 21 4104 Longwoods Road, with no clear indication of what was being requested. So staff contacted the requester to ask what they are asking for, specifically if they're asking for a clean out of the open portion of the drain downstream from 4104. The response indicated that this was not the intent of the request, but no clarification was given. In order to gain firsthand knowledge of the terrain, staff went to the property in question. While at 4104, it became evident that in the approximate location of the enclosed portion of the Diamok drain, there was a swale that had been gouged into the land that was 2 to 2.5 feet deep, that had been a result of years of erosion. This swale was not mentioned in the report that was dated August 27th, 1951. From this point, the requester was contacted again with options of how to proceed. Option 1, the requester carry out the work to regrade the land that's been scoured out from erosion in order to farm through this area again. Further to that, staff suggested that the requester contact Lower Thames Conservation Authority, Lower Thames Valley Conservation Authority, for recommendations for erosion protection measures to keep the soil in place. Also, the requester can inquire about funding. There has been funding in the past that can offset some of that. Since the swale was not part of the drain, this could be done without the municipality's involvement. Or option 2, reconstruct the drain through the requester's property, which would include a new, larger enclosed drain. It is possible that the erosion protection would be included in this report. And it's likely that the Conservation Authority would include that in their recommendation as well. Once again, staff asked for clarification on the request, and no clarification was given. At this point, the municipality has a request that is likely for improvements to the Diamok drain, and it's probably not maintenance. However, we do not know for sure. Further to that, we do not know what is being requested. It is for this reason that staff recommends having a scoping meeting on site, involving all landowners, inviting all landowners from the drain. It's hoped from this meeting it will yield a better idea of what is being requested. There's no immediate financial implications. However, in the past, a portion of Tate's Road will likely be assessed. So at this point, it is my recommendation that council directs staff to hold a scoping meeting to gather further information regarding request filled out under 78 of the Drainage Act for Range 1, Lot 21 to improve the Diamok drain, and that the superintendent contact Lower Thames to ensure legal compliance, and the superintendent report back to council after these have been completed, determine the council can accept and appoint the engineer, assuming that we have a clear understanding of what's being requested.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Council, any questions you'd like to direct to Andrew through the chair? Seeing none, the recommendation on the Diamok drain, request for a section 78, would someone entertain a motion? Would someone entertain a motion on this drain, Diamok drain, section 78, Councillor Cowell, and seconded by Councillor McGill? All in favor? Motion is carried. Andrew, you've been a very busy drainage superintendent. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure, your days are occupied.
Yes, sir.
Yes, number 9 we're at on the agenda. Mary Gay, I noticed a notice of motion here. There's no description. I have no description on this or have been given any. Could you indulge council on what it is in reference to?
Yeah, Mayor Mayhew, I decided not to put it forward.
Okay, that's fine. Always another day, Deputy Mayor. Thank you very much. Correspondence and petitions. Jill, correct me if I'm wrong. None. And item 11 on the agenda is unfinished business. I don't believe there is any. And if we could look at item number 12 and make reference to 5D, the letter from CUPE and OMERS regarding investment performance. If anyone read it, they had a net loss of 2.7%, which is somewhat uncommon. Councillor Cowell, you go ahead and advise council of your concern.
Well, as you can see below, it looks like there's a recommended motion that's also been added to the most recent agenda. And I know when I looked there earlier this week, it wasn't there. So I feel like it's been added since then, and maybe it's the recommendation that came from pulling this out, because I had mentioned I wanted to address it earlier in the week. So ultimately, it's just that I believe that the CUPE is looking to have a bit more oversight over how the OMERS is being managed. And because our staff are, while they're not unionized, all of them, many of them are still impacted about the outcome of OMERS. And I can appreciate that our staff might be concerned about their pension. So I have brought it out, and if anyone else would like to speak more or explain it, otherwise there is a recommended motion under new business.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I too am supportive of having some reference to their performance issue. As many of you know, the markets have performed very well over the last year, and they certainly are an anomaly in the investment world. Would you make that a motion, Councillor Cowell, that accept the recommendation?
Yeah, I will move the motion that has been put forward.
Okay, and
I'll second it, Mayor Mayhew.
thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Vink, go ahead and ask your question, Martin.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Allen. Just a clarification maybe to Jill, Mayor Allen. If OMERS has a shortfall, the municipalities are also liable for, I believe, half of that shortfall. Is that correct, Jill?
Through you, yes. The municipalities pay a portion of the benefit towards OMERS. As well as the individual. So yeah, absolutely, there's a liability there, potentially. I mean, I understand that there are some strategies that OMER is looking to achieve and has new recommendations, but they also sound as though they may have implications for municipalities going forward as well. So, and just if I may, Mayor Mayhew, this is just the CUPE, if that second page of the CUPE report, this is their request. So it's not one that I crafted myself. It's the one that is at the end of that report.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions you'd like to direct through the chair to Jill, to staff? Seeing none, we have a mover and a seconder on this, that we support the correspondence request. I'll call the question. All in favor of supporting 5D? Carried unanimously. Thank you, Councillor Cowell. County Council and conference updates. Are there any? Announcements? Yes, Deputy Mayor, followed by Councillor Scholdice. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor Mayhew. If I could, I would just like to give council an update on the Community School Alliance work. It's been done recently. Some of you may know that I put my name forward for a board position this past August, and I was successful in being elected. It certainly helps to have a seat at the table in terms of advocacy for our own rural community schools alongside former Mayor Doug Raycraft. The board reached out to its memberships this year to ask if there was an ability for some administrative support, and I brought this forward to Jill. She is currently working with Mr. Raycraft on an arrangement to provide some support for 5 to 10 hours per month for the Community School Alliance. The membership will be funding that administrative support, but the entire board was very pleased that Southwest Middlesex was willing to work with them in that way. I'd like to thank Jill for all of that support and effort, and the staff members involved for working on that too, Jill. I understand that an arrangement is being finalized. It will be coming to council sometime in the future for consideration. But I just thought that I would bring that forward now, Mayor Doug, so that everybody knew where that was going. Thank you.
Mayor Al, yeah, that's good. Okay, that's good news, Deputy Mayor, and we look forward to that. And I'm sure we all are concerned about the destinies of rural secondary schools, and it's a good beginning.
Alan, did I call you Mayor Raycraft? If I did, I'm
Mayor
sorry.
Doug, you called me.
Oh,
Mayor
sorry
Doug.
about that.
All right.
Old habits die hard.
Well, that's all right.
My apologies.
Well, I'm honored. Yes, Councillor Scholdice, go ahead. And Mark, did I miss you? Okay, I don't know if you had okay, I didn't. Okay, go ahead, Michael. Oh, Mike, you're on mute there.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I'd just like to take a moment to congratulate my old friend and fellow Lion, Mitch Shear, on his retirement. Mitch was honored this morning at a ceremony at the arena. I'm sorry that all of councillors couldn't make it. I almost missed it myself, had a ratepayer not received an invitation and told me about it last night. My mother was recalling when we moved to Appin in 1972, Mitch was the first person at our door welcoming us to town. He has been a dedicated community member and a municipal employee, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of all of council in wishing him all the best.
Thank you, Michael, very much for that. That's good. And we wish him the best, and we wish him all the best through his journey before him. Thank you. Yes, Councillor Cowell, go ahead.
I wanted to just give a shout out and a thank you to Denny Giles, because we were made aware that this is his last meeting with us tonight before he moves on to a brighter opportunity. So it's a little happier to see you go than Mitch. Like, not, I did not mean it that way. Oh gosh, that came out bad. I'm just happy for you, not happy you're going. Anywho, so I just wanted to say thank you, Denny, for all of the work you've done for the last few years as well, and wish you the best in your new endeavor.
No, we're gonna miss you big time, Denny.
Thank you.
Sure all of us, each of us will have our way of conveying our thanks to Denny over the course of the next 9 days, I think. And there's only about 6 business days in there, Denny. So anyway, we truly are going to miss not only the work you do, but your pleasant personality as well. And someone is going to be the beneficiary of those characteristics, and we wish you well. And thank you, Councillor Cowell.
Thank you.
Jill, yes, Councillor Vink, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Al. I just wondered if you or Jill or maybe Deputy Mayor could elaborate. I seen something on Facebook about November 22nd. There's supposed to be a meeting from the Thames Valley District School Board in Glencoe. Haven't seen too many details in that regard. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes, that is, they're seeking public opinion. You have to register for that through the portal at Thames Valley School Board. I understand the attendance may be capped at 25. Jill can correct me if I'm wrong there, but it is important that I think we hit our 25 numbers. And it does require a registration. Jill, could you elaborate on that anymore?
Yeah, so this was part of a conversation with Trustee Morel. She and Trustee Hunt have been working towards the Rural Task Force and getting more information. They're also hosting a similar session in North Middlesex. So I would say we're really just helping to facilitate a space for them, but she has described the aim and the intent and what they're hoping for. And you're quite correct, it's a registration program and capped at 25 people. And they're looking to get community feedback, and then they would like to come and speak to council. So we'd reached out to them earlier this year about the potential for an update. And they're more than willing to come. But through that discussion, it was agreed that it would be better if they come after they get the feedback and have more to present to our council.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jill, for that. That clarifies it. Martin, you okay with that now? And if you need more information, get it to you.
Yes.
Any other announcements? I just would like to announce Mary Gay usually lays the wreath at the Cenotaph in Warsville, and she has a commitment. She is unable to do that tomorrow. And Martin, thank you very much for volunteering for that position. And your contact there is Glenn McGee. And if you need any information, give me a call. I will be at the Cenotaph in Glencoe tomorrow while you're at Warsville. And on Sunday, I laid a wreath at Newberry at the Cenotaph there too. So we're making the rounds. I think there was a conflict with Melbourne. Unfortunately, we couldn't get there. I think it was at the same time as Newberry. But anyway, we'll thank you, Mary Gay, for offering at first. And it's certainly understandable, plans change. And thank you, Councillor Vink. Last call for announcements, Council. Okay, don't forget, if you have tickets to a steak barbecue at the Legion tomorrow, cash them in. I don't believe there's any closed sessions, Jill. Yes?
Yeah, I requested a very brief one to give just an update on some staffing.
That's correct. And if we could do the bylaws before that, Council, if you wouldn't have any objection to that. The bylaws are before you. They've been, I'll accept a motion that they be adopted as recommended, including the confirmation bylaw as presented, and then we'll go into committee after that. May I have a recommendation that the bylaws, yes.
Sorry, if you don't mind, maybe I'll just take a quick time for advising about the Tri-County Waterboard Agreement. I know that's on the agenda. I didn't know, Mayor Mayhew, if you wanted to speak or any of the Tri-County board members. Essentially, all of the membership is in agreement, and looking forward to having a new agreement that confirms some things, tidies up some things, and helps us in a way that I think is beneficial to Southwest Middlesex.
Yeah,
I just thought I'd take a moment.
Yeah, well, I think that is important. It's one of our most precious commodities, water. A couple of things I would like to say. Councillor Bartlett, Deputy Mayor, and myself sit on that committee, but we get a tremendous amount of support from our CAO on that. And this was no exception. Jill went over that agreement word by word. She kept in communication with us throughout the whole process. We endeavored to portray her opinions to the Tri-County Water Board. It has been a challenging year, as you know, with the brown water we've recently gone through, and we are trying to work on that. I was very pleased to nominate Deputy Mayor Mary Gay Wilkins as Vice Chair for that board at the last meeting. And it's certainly an interesting committee, no doubt about it, and a very important one. And there's many times I give thanks that we have Aqua administrating the plant there and our own water system. We're very lucky to have them. It's a huge responsibility. Deputy Mayor, go ahead.
Mayor Mayhew, the board members I know and staff, Jill and Greg, did get a notice this week from Aqua that there is a session coming up on exactly the issues we were dealing with the discoloration this summer in the water. And I'm wondering, Jill, if you could find out if that could be extended to any interested council members as well.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Sounds good. Yes, I've registered for that. Yep, and it does require registration. Yep. Or advise Janet, the Tri-County Water Board. Okay. Any other announcements? We've had lots of them tonight. They're paving, putting some pavement down on Main Street. That's good news. It's nice to see. Hopefully we get it cleaned up. I hope the weather holds for the next 48 hours. And now, if we can clean up the bylaws now, they are recommended motions are before you, including the confirming the meeting of November 10th. Would someone entertain a motion? Thank you, Councillor Cowell. Seconded, Councillor Bartlett. All in favor that the bylaws be adopted as recommended? Carried. We will now go into closed session. Deputy Mayor, we need a motion to that effect. Someone move we go into closed session to discuss what's the topic, Jill?
Labor relations and employee negotiations.
Right terminology. Would someone move that, please, and second it for that? Councillor Scholdice, seconded by waiting. Councillor Vink, all in favor? Carried. Deputy Mayor, I'll hand the gavel to you.
No, just stop.
Thank you very much, Mayor